So what am I doing stood on this rural road in Leicestershire? There's my car, nowhere really to park, and what I'm about to do is cross over the road and show you some things. Actually, the reason I'm here is because we're actually right on the site of the Battle of Bosworth, and one of the ways we can tell is that here you see a white rose, the sign of Richard of York, and it's on a gate of this farm, and I'm not sure I should be climbing over it, but there's a tractor over there. But in the distance you can just see over there, those are the trees where historians in terms of archaeology think now that was exactly where Richard III was killed, on the site of the Battle of Bosworth. So I'm going to climb over this fence here. Back again, just emerged successfully, and I don't know what the farmer's planted in this ground, but I'm going to walk across it. So those trees you can see over there, that was where there was some site of an extensive archaeological dig, because previously they thought the Battle of Bosworth was sort of that way, about a mile and a half. It's where they built the visitor centre near Albion Hill, and that's where they always thought it was, and where Richard III had been killed. And then they did loads of digging around, architectural archaeology stuff, battlefield archaeology, and they found loads and loads of cannonballs right on this field here where I'm walking across, and they found some really interesting things and artifacts. They're all now in the museum, but they found this silver brooch with a wild boar, and it almost certainly must have belonged to one of the knights who was close comrade of Richard III at the Battle of Bosworth, and it had clearly fallen off this knight when he'd been killed. And indeed, when Richard III had been killed, butchered indeed, at the Battle of Bosworth, he tried to attack Henry VII. He'd seen the battle wasn't going his way, and he'd made a charge for the pretender, the Lancastrian pretender to the throne. And the spot where he fell this knight fell, is most likely the spot where Richard III fell. So it's kind of worth the walk over to these trees, these four trees, which are very distinctive. You can probably see them there now. This is where we're walking. Just close to where the archaeologists found that silver boar. So in terms of best guess scenario, that is the best guess scenario for where the real action in the Battle of Bosworth took place. And it took a bit of detective work for me to find it, because it's not an obvious site. Like I say, there's nowhere to park or anything. And just imagine, I mean, I don't know if you can see over there, that's the nearest village, the church tower of, I think it might be St. Colney, right in the distance there. And of course, Richard III, when he was killed, Henry VII wanted everyone to know that the Yorkist king was dead and he was the real king, and so it was important that Richard III was actually paraded and actually buried properly in that church in Leicester, which then turned out to be a car park, and his body was discovered. So here we are at the trees, on that tree line here, that represent our best and closest guess as to where Richard III was killed. Bit of history, eh? This is what it looks like around. You would never think that's the Battle of Bosworth. Flat, few trees. There was a lot of marshy stuff. There's kind of canals in here. There was a marsh over that side. There's a canal just over the corner, a lot of little rivers, so you know it's all been drained, but it was a difficult place to fight a battle. And well, you can see for yourself. Here's the spot. Richard III, RIP. I better make my way back to the car now.